me and another investigator had to go in there to just scout the space first.
Okay.
And we walked in. I was like, yeah, no. I am happy though, because she pushed me and she's like, no, we got to go. And I was like, I'm sorry. No, I'm not doing this. She was like, we got to come on, honey.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I was like, and we were going up the stairs and I was like, I cannot do this. And she's like,
why did you feel that way? Was it overwhelming? Was it dark? Like why were you feeling?
It was dark.
Okay.
But all I felt were just hundreds of men just like staring at us.
Oh, God.
And it was empty in there, which is interesting. There's nothing in that old building.
Oh my God. I always am like trying to like move my hair around.
Yeah, I'm like, is it okay?
So I have to tell you this story, and we might keep it in, we might not.
Okay.
It's because we established we both love some tea.
Oh, yeah.
So in the comments, which I shouldn't read the comments of my own podcast, but I did. Okay. And I wore my hair, and I don't really ever do this, but I wore my hair like half up. And I wasn't thinking that, like, I never thought that my ears were particularly large. And I had people say, are you a fan of Shrek? You have sonar ears.
Oh.
You could fly to Pilates with those ears. So now when I'm like situating myself, I like make sure that my hair.
Oh my God.
They're vicious.
You know what though? I'm glad you said this, because before we were going to start,
I
was just going to tell you congratulations, because
thank you.
You have one of the most professional, sleek setups that I've ever seen.
I appreciate that.
And I've been doing this, I say it, this media stuff for probably like the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is amazing.
Thank
so
you.
This is great.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. You know what? Who cares if someone says I have Shrek ears?
Seriously, who gives a shit? Yeah, I'm just like, who cares? I was like, this is amazing.
Literally.
Do they have this setup? They don't. So.
No, they do not. They do not have access to this studio.
No, not at all.
And I am just one. I do got to put a timer on, because if not, we will be here. We will be here for 2 days.
Yeah.
We'll see the sun go up and down. But I am so excited to have my guest here with me, Tawney Lewis. And Tammy spoke highly of you. So Tammy was a guest just previously a few episodes ago, and we were talking about you and all of your abilities. And you said you've been in the media game now for like, what, 3 or 4 years? So what prompted that, I guess? Let's start there.
It's so humbling, because I was not looking for fame at all.
Okay.
But I think what it is so I'm a paranormal investigator. I'm a researcher. I'm an intuitive medium. And I think people are like, wait, that's awesome. Oh, wait, you're a female. Oh, wait, you're a woman of color, which is rare. It's just not a thing. It's not bad. It's just not a thing.
Yeah.
And so I think they just see that I'm different.
Yeah.
And that I stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it piques their interest.
Mm-hmm.
And so, within the last few years, I've done a lot of TV, a lot of Canadian TV shows. So people are like, I don't know you. Who are you? What's going on? And so we're gonna say,
wait, so why in Canada?
I don't know. That's the first grab. That was the first grab. So a few years ago, I initially started on a few paranormal projects on Tubi.
Okay.
So Scariest Places in America, Scariest Places in the World, and then Famously Haunted Hollywood.
Ooh.
And then for Paranormal Revenge, which is a Canadian show, they just saw me somewhere and they were like, we're creating a show about the paranormal and crazy hauntings. Can you be one of our experts? And so Paranormal Revenge was, I think, 2023.
Okay.
And then what's super cool is that the newest show, My Haunted Hometown, they saw Paranormal Revenge, and they also connected with the producer who said, oh, Tawny's awesome. She's professional. She knows what she's doing. You should reach out. And that's how My Haunted Hometown found me. So that's why I was like, it's so humbling, because I'm not like, hey, you need to cast me. Hey, no, I'm just like minding my business here in LA. And people are like,
you're just casually living your life. And people are like, well, you talk to spirits.
Literally. It's like, hey, this is cool. I'm just like, oh, wow. And so, My Haunted Hometown premiered last year in 2024, but in Canada.
Okay.
And I just found out it's now on the Travel Channel here.
That's so exciting.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, Americans can see me now.
Americans can see you now.
Finally.
And like your credits, like in your Instagram profile, like they're really impressive. Like if you've only been doing this for a few years, like girl, you're killing it.
I appreciate that because I genuinely love this stuff.
Yeah.
And the biggest one was Ghost Adventures.
Which obviously we have to talk about.
That was, I can't wait.
I mean, maybe should we start with that?
Sure.
All right,
let's talk about it.
Let's talk about your experience on Ghost Adventures.
So what's really cool is I was a massive fan of Ghost Adventures and Zak Bagans. Like, I had a big crush on him. I love that show. I love that show.
Yeah.
But as years went on, I want to say probably like around 2016, I just didn't watch the show anymore.
Yeah.
For various reasons. I just didn't. I was busy. I was not focused, whatever. And so when Tammy actually is the one that recommended, because they wanted a psychic medium, and she's like, hey, and I actually don't really advertise myself as a psychic medium.
Why?
I don't know. Let me think about this. Okay. Let me think about this. I have been a paranormal investigator for about 15 years. The intuitive aspect actually didn't come to light until like 7 years ago, around there.
Okay.
And so I'm an actual investigator. So we do on that location. I have my tools out.
Yeah.
I'm investigating. And then if I need to tap in psychically, I'll do that. Whereas if you watch these TV shows, you'll see psychic mediums that they don't have any tools. They're just like, I see, I feel, I hear, I know. And that they're using their body as an instrument, which is totally fine.
Right.
However, that's not really my style.
Okay.
And so I think that's why you go to my page, you'll be like, I don't see anything about psychic or what's going on, you know?
Right.
And so I use it when I need to.
Okay.
And Tammy is aware of the skills because I've worked alongside her. I've read her, so she's like, I know what you can do. And then the show's like, we need a medium. And she suggested me. I thought they were just going to interview me about the Poltergeist house. I thought that was the go. They were just like, hey, have you been by? What do you know about it? I was like, okay, cool. No problem. And they were like, okay, cool. Are you available this date? And you're going to come here. And I went there and that's what happened.
So were you involved in the Poltergeist house?
Did I go in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I'm sorry. I left out the biggest chunk. I apologize. I was like, yeah, I got there by. No,
she's like, I just casually showed up. Yeah. That's it. That's all. That's all we get.
No, it was super cool. I went there. I waited a little bit. And they said, okay. No, let me back up. I waited a little bit. And then I hear Zak say, we're ready for Tawney. And I was like,
did you die? Were you like, oh my God.
Here we go. And then I met him outside and he introduced himself and he was very polite. He thanked me for being there. And then we just started filming. And the funny part is, again, I was like, okay, they're going to interview me about the house. And he does. Then he opens the door and I'm just like, what's happening? And then I was like, what's going on? And then we go in. I was like, I thought it was the end. And he's like, so tell me where you feel drawn. I was like, I'm the medium.
So you didn't know?
Not really. I knew that I was going to be on there. I knew I was going to be interviewed.
Yeah.
I did not know I was going to be investigating with him as the medium. And I was like, Tawney, you have approximately 1 second to get it together.
Yeah.
Just tap in because as a psychic medium, I'm not one to be like, I'm always on. I see spirit everywhere. I don't work like that. I'm off. I call it off. 99% of the time, I can do my job. I can enjoy life. I can go about my business. Okay. And then I was like, I'm not on right now. Oh my God. I was like, okay, let's do this.
And it's showtime.
Yeah. I was like, it's showtime. And he's like, where do you feel drawn? And then I stared at him and he stared at me and I stared at him. He stared at me. And I was like,
It's probably like, ma'am.
He's like, hello. And then I was like, okay, let's do this. And so no, I felt drawn already upstairs. And if you see the episode, I had already said there's a man up there. And I had never even been in the house.
You know what's crazy? I've watched this episode and I'm going to have to rewatch it now knowing you. Because I'm like, wait, shit, she was on this episode.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
And I really did not know I was an investigator. So it'd be interesting.
And that's even better to watch it with that insight, knowing that.
I was like, relax, Tawney. But no, I took them upstairs and I felt everything was real. I was like, I feel like there's a man in here. And it was cool for him to confirm that that man did die in the space. And then I heard, I died in here. He was like, oh, we got that on our EVP.
Really?
Some man said I died or something. And I was just like, and that felt good because I was so nervous that I said, please don't. I don't want to come in here and look like an idiot. And he's like, this girl is a fraud. She's an idiot. But I was getting information, which was true. Yeah. And so it was humbling, and it felt good because I was like, there's a lady here by the stairs and there's another man. And they confirmed that there were 2 men and a woman that died in the house. So that was great. I think maybe the show wanted to focus a lot more on in the area, Simi Valley. I know there's native burial ground, but I personally did not pick up on that while I was in the house. I just felt the people that had passed, and there was nothing, at least for me, nothing dark or nothing sinister. It was just people that were there, and that was their space. So,
was there a legend about the pool? Wasn't there something about the pool and it being on like the burial ground, and they had found things? Or am I misquote? I might be misquoting.
No, I'm not sure. So I'm not going to say no, because it might have been that. And I'm actually glad I did not do really any research about the because I was like, well, let me see if what I get and if it matches, because there was a chance I was like, I wonder if they're going to keep me in the episode, because I didn't pick up on any of the burial grounds. I was worried, but no, that I'm glad he did. He kept me in there, and it meant a lot. When we were done filming, again, very polite. He was like, thank you so much for coming. And I was like, can I get a picture?
Listen, girl, I saw that photo.
I was like, yeah. But because people were like, how was it like working with him? I was like, he was very professional with me, and it was all good. I was only there maybe like 45 minutes to an hour filming.
Oh, really?
And the guys were so nice. Everyone was very, very professional. Yeah. And I remember leaving being like, wow, that was one of the best days of my life. It really was. Cool. And I wish I was able to like tell him that, but it was so quick, and he was very in the zone, and he was very focused, and I was just like, damn, I just want to tell him like that was awesome.
Well, hopefully he hears that from you, or there's another opportunity for you to to tell him that.
Very true.
He's a hot topic on social media. He's a very hot topic. Yeah. So that's why I was wondering what your experience was like with him.
For me, quick and professional.
That's good. That's good.
Quick and professional. And you're right. I want it to be another opportunity, but it's because I like to investigate. It's not about the cameras. I'm like, hey, take me somewhere else to investigate it. Like, who else is out there?
Literally.
It's, the paranormal for me is a genuine passion. Mm-hmm. Like, I really enjoy telling the stories of those that once lived, that once walked this, physical plane with us. Right. And that is why I do it. Where there are a lot of people out there, they're just like, I want to see demons. I want to see elementals. I want to see fairies, like random things. And I'm just like, oh, that's okay. I just want to tell a story. Yeah, I'm good. I just want to tell their stories. I want to learn more about who they were. Yeah. I find that so fascinating.
So when was the first experience you had? Because you said you've been ghost hunting for like 15 years. So like, what was that first experience where you're like, oh, like I'm getting something from somebody?
The very first time was when I was a child. Really? So I lived in like Leimert Park area, of Los Angeles. Okay. And this stood out, and I have to bring this up because of how much it stood out. Yeah. So we lived in a really nice house, and I remember I woke up one night. I always get the age mixed up because I can't remember. I'm gonna say 10.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 10 or 11. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I woke up and I saw a little girl standing over my sister. So we shared a bedroom. And what stood out is Leimert Park is a predominantly African-American community. Yeah. And the little girl had long blonde hair with pigtails, and I could see her beautiful blue eyes. Yeah. I was like, that's not normal here. She doesn't live over here. I don't think that's a thing.
She's not from this part of town.
And then she's like staring at her. And I remember I could see her eyes. Like clear as day.
So you can see her whole. That's crazy.
See now as a medium, I don't see them like that. Like I don't. People are like, do you see? I'm like, no. It's all for me now intuitive. Where like, if I said, imagine a waterfall, that's how I see it. And so no, but as a child, I saw that little girl, and then I remember covering my eyes with a blanket, and I was like, okay, if she's still there, I looked again. Still there. Did it one more time. That's how I know it was real. I did it one more time. Yeah. And I think I made a movement or something, and then she started to fade away the third time. I was like, wow. I saw something.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so that was the first time I actually saw something. And I remember telling my sister months later, she's like, why did you not tell me? I was like, I don't know. I didn't think you'd believe me that there was a blonde haired girl in your room, like staring at, like you wouldn't have believed me. Right. And it just scared me because I was also able to see auras, which is energy fields around people. And I just started praying, like, I don't like this. I don't like it.
You're like, no.
Get rid. And it went away. It went away for about 15, 20 years. And then I just found myself very fascinated with, when I got older,
Yeah.
paranormal, UFOs, cryptids, ghosts. But it also scared me. And so I mentioned this a lot in interviews where I'm like, believe it or not, the paranormal is my biggest fear. I'm actually terrified of all of these things. Yeah. However, I've learned everything I could learn so that I could feel controlled. And so that's where it's like, yeah, I'm scared of ghosts and hauntings. However, I'm curious. I want to go in there and investigate a place. And I now understand how things work to where I'm not like scared to go to sleep or anything. I'm just like, yeah, I'm freaked out. But guess what? I control this. I know what I'm doing. Good night. Like that. Yeah. And so, that's what happened. I just became very interested in it. I started doing ghost tours, ghost walks whenever I traveled. Yeah. I was invited to be a part of a paranormal team because they saw me always on their tours. Yeah. And yeah, that's basically how I got started, just doing investigations and learning more and more about paranormal.
So do you think you suppressed it until you became an adult?
Oh yeah, until I became an adult.
That's so interesting.
And as the years went on, from praying about it, it was like, I remember being like 14 in like a bookstore, and then I would see a book about UFOs and I'd be like, oh, I'm scared, I can't read that. Yeah. Why do I feel like grabbing that book? Why am I reading it like that? I'm just like, why am I doing this?
Like, why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this? But it was intriguing to me, even though I feared it. And so that's what I tell people. I'm like, there's people out there that don't like the paranormal because they're scared of it. They fear what they can't explain.
Exactly.
But my little brain was like, you know what? I'm afraid of this, but I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to read about all of these things. I'm going to watch all these paranormal. I watched that's how I got the Ghost Adventures. I watched every paranormal program, and I was just like, I need to learn more. I need to learn more. And so, that's kind of how I got into it.
So when you do go to like ghost hunt at a location, do you treat it as like, do you do any research?
I'm going to say no. Okay. I pause because there's some places where you just know, like the Whaley House in San Diego, one of the most haunted locations in the world. And most people know about it. They know who the family is. So I'm just like, okay, I know who's there already. Whereas like, like Tammy and I just did an investigation in Big Bear.
Yes. I'm so sad I missed it.
I was like, I don't want to know anything about it. I was like, don't tell me. And that was perfect because we got there and I was like, there's a man talking to me, like, what's going on, That's and crazy. Like, again, intuitively, I'm seeing the words and I'm seeing kind of like his face and I'm just like, there's a man that's here. So yeah, it just depends. But I would prefer not to know anything beforehand.
Okay. And that makes sense because you probably wouldn't want to give yourself too much history and then be like, would you question yourself if you did? Like if you over-researched something?
I would question myself. I'm also, because there's a lot of, just being real, there's a lot of psychic mediums that have just a lot of ego. And I strive to not have that. I'm just like, we're not God. We just so happen to have a gift that we are able to use to help people if we like to do that. It means nothing else. Like I'm in charge of fate. I know what it's like. It is what it is,
Right.
There's a lot of ego in the spiritual field. And that's one thing I'm just like, I will not.
That's so crazy.
Absolutely. And I'm just like, I will never be that person. Yeah. If I ever come off like that, it's not on purpose. If I don't think I do, but if I ever did, it would only be because I'm trying to be professional about it. Right. And so I only use it for the paranormal because that's what gives me joy. Whereas I don't do this full time. Like I don't do, I'm not like a psychic medium that people come to for readings. Yeah. I get a lot of requests. I used to do it. My mentor even said like, does it give you joy? I was like, I like the paranormal. Yeah. She's like, then that's what you should be. And she's like, what about people come to you? I was like, it's like, but if a friend or if a referral is like, I have some questions. Absolutely.
I know. It's like, oh shit, I was hoping to get a reading.
1,000%. You can ask, like, if you're just like, I have some questions, can you please answer my questions? I'll be like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's kind of how I work. That's what gives me joy. I don't, like someone wanted a mediumship reading. I was just like, like that. Yeah, I was like, but then someone else was like, hey, like, can I ask you some questions about like school or my job? And she's like, hell yeah, I will. Sure. Like, it doesn't bother me.
So with mediumship, is it seeing into the future? Is it seeing like entities or energies that are already there? Is it a little bit of both? Like, explain to me like what that truly means.
Yeah, mediumship is basically connecting to someone that has departed. Okay. That is no longer here in the physical. It is connecting to loved ones. Anything like that. Whereas with me, I use the mediumship for paranormal. So where I'm like, okay, there's definitely spirits here, that the people that have passed that might have always, when I say this, I think of Casper. They have unresolved issues or unresolved. They used to say that in the movie all the time, but that's how I see mediumship. And so where psychic is basically just connecting to someone when it comes to their aura, their soul, their path. It could be so many things. Love life, career, family, relationships, money, legal, all basically anything connected to their path, their soul path. And so that's the difference. And that's where I was like, someone's like, I have questions about psychic. I'm just like, yeah, cool, no problem. And mediumship, just like, and I'll do it. It just, like she said, it just doesn't give me joy. And that's just what I've noticed over the last few years. It just, I don't know why.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
If you don't want to use your gift that way, then you certainly don't have to do that.
Yeah. It's so interesting though. Now I'm just thinking about over the years, and like my friend, he always says like, you've done all this training. I was just like, I know. He's like, you don't want to. I'm just like, it just doesn't give me joy. But I would gladly give psychic readings. That doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. So what is the training like?
Oh my God.
Please share.
Okay. Here's the thing. This is what's gonna suck.
Okay.
A lot of psychic mediums are not trained.
Okay.
A lot of them are just naturally gifted, which is absolutely beautiful. They just have that raw gift. However, there's a lot that need to understand it, and they need to control it. Because there's some that they're like, I'm a psychic medium, I'm gonna go out there and just give people messages, yay! And it's like, well, you have to get permission, first before you do that.
Like, don't rock somebody's world.
Yeah, you have to get permission. But I feel like the training is so important because you learn about the gift. You learn about yourself. You learn how you connect with other people, how people can. You learn different aspects of it. And so, for me, when I started taking intuition classes, I had 2 teachers say, "So you're here for intuition?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "I think you're a medium." I was like, "No."
You just denied it. You're like, no.
And then another one, she's like, I think you're picking up information mediumistically. I was like, no.
So how did they know that?
This was years ago. But I think it just shows how good they were.
Okay.
Because I'm just like, how did they know that?
Yeah.
And I was like, what did they? Because it was years ago. And then I did in the intuition class. The teacher's like, we're gonna have you guys do mediumship readings on each other. And I was like, and do this. And she paired me with this young woman, and I was like, this is so dumb. And then the girl was like, I was so like that. At that time I had ego because I was just like, I am not a medium, I am just intuitive, and I was like, whatever. And she was like, no, just go ahead and try it. And then I remember telling the girl, I was like, okay, fine. There's a guy here, he's sitting cross-legged, he looks like he's like 21, he has black hair, he has a black, and I'm just telling her all this stuff, and I was like, I feel like he might have overdosed or something, and she's bawling. And I was like, and she's like, that's my ex. And she proceeded to tell me that right there was that moment where I said, oh shit.
That's it.
And I remember it's funny because it was years ago. I was walking back to my car after the class. I was like, oh my God, this has happened. It was out here, actually. It was in Santa Monica. Yeah.
Why is everything coming back to Santa Monica today?
I was like, I remember that day, and I got in the car. I was like, this is like the 3rd or 4th time this has happened. And so I talked to my mom, and I said, listen, because she doesn't believe in any of this.
I was going to ask, is anybody in your family?
I mean, they believe it. They're just, my mom handles it the best. She thinks we're all weirdos, but she's just like looking. Well, this actually answers the question because I told her, I said, listen, people are telling me I'm a medium. They're also telling me that I'm psychic, and I wanted you to know. And the skeptic mom, she says, do you enjoy doing it? I said, yeah, it's pretty interesting. She's like, do you feel like you're helping people? I was like, yeah, so far.
Yeah. She
said, then I guess that's what you'll be doing. And remember, this is a woman that's skeptic. And I never, she probably forgot she said that. But I was just like,
I didn't say that.
I was like, okay. I almost felt like it was okay.
Yeah.
Like that, like, okay, I can do this. And so I took it very, very seriously. Because I always had a full-time job. And I would take developmental classes at night. I would take online classes. What else? I took classes whenever I could, wherever I could, with really good people. And they just basically taught me how to trust myself, how to listen to others, how to communicate, how to be ethical and not say inappropriate things. it went on for, I want to say I did that for like 2 or 3 years, like just to learn. I worked with some of the best people. There's an amazing teacher in England who used to come out here, and he used to only work with advanced students. But for some reason, he said which I'm glad he trusted it. He said something told him, work with her. And I felt like an idiot in his class because they were all so good. And I was like, what's going on? But I learned from some of the best. And so I took it seriously. I started working with Lisa Williams, who is an she's amazing. And I saw during COVID, she would hold online classes. And I was just like, this lady knows her shit. Yeah. Everything she tells us to do works. And I was like, how do I work with her in a closer capacity? Yeah. And so I kept getting emails. See how the universe works. I kept getting emails about master teacher. I was like, what is this? Master teacher. And it was with Lisa. And it was like, we choose 10 people to work with her. It's a year-long program. And the way you graduate is you come out there like the last month and work with her. And I was like, I'm going to do this. And then I think it was like $10,000. I was like, oh, I'm not going to do it.
Like, I'm just kidding.
I don't think I'm going to do this. And so, no, but by luck, and I won't go into too much details, they accepted me into that program. And so I got into master teacher, and it was all online. It was all during the whole COVID, like 2021.
Yeah.
There,
yeah.
All online classes, a lot of homework, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
She assigned us students to work with. That I had a student in Australia. Like, it was so cool.
That's pretty wild.
It was pretty cool. Yeah. And then the last month I had to spend all of July 2021 in New York with her and the other teachers. And you learned, oh my God. You learned about how you work with other people, how they work with you. You learn more about who you are, your traits, your personality, what pisses you off, what makes you happy. Yeah. You learn patience. You learn to get rid of your ego. Yeah. Just being in that space with those type of people for that amount of time.
It's incredible.
And to this day, I always speak so highly of her because she changed my life. She's helped elevate me to go where I didn't even think I could go. Yeah. And she's everything, all the success I've had, it some way leads back to her. She was the first person that said something about teaching paranormal. And I was like, what? Yeah. Me? Huh? And that's what I do. I teach paranormal classes, and as well as everything I talk to you about. So
that's incredible. Mm-hmm. Okay. So first, before we go too far, so you touched on like saying inappropriate things like during a reading. Mm-hmm. So if you are reading somebody or you're reading a spirit or you're picking up on something, do you have those moments where something happens where you're like, oh my God, I can't say that to somebody?
You know what? It has happened. But because of the training, I'm able to catch it. And then I'm just like, let me word this a different way. Yeah. So here, a perfect example is back when I was doing the readings, whatever. I was doing readings, a girl was like, oh my God, I think my partner's cheating and I love him so much and I think he's doing all these horrible things. And I remember being like, this guy's a jerk. Right. And a bad psychic medium would be like, he's a jerk and you need to leave him and he is cheating on you and da-da-da. They would just, which is, again, it's fine. Some people would give it to you straight, but ethical. I said, okay, this person is absolutely in love with him. And you also have to remember the mental health of the person that you're working with. Right. They will take one little thing that you say and they will hold on to that for years. Mm-hmm. 15 years ago, a psychic medium told me that my sister was going to die. My sister's still here.
And that probably...
See? And I held on to it.
Yeah. How would you not?
That's a good example of you have to be careful what you say and be ethical. Mm-hmm. And so I remember telling that woman, I was like, here's the thing. I said, your partner, I feel like he's going through some things, which was true. I said, however, you are not compatible at the moment. You're not a match. And so you always have to trust your gut. Yeah. Trust what you're feeling, and what you're feeling is it's not the right time for this. And I know you love him and that's fine. But, you have to decide what's right for you and your path. Yeah. I didn't tell her you needed to leave him. Right. She's going to make that decision herself.
Guy's a dog. Yeah. You got to go.
She's going to make that decision herself. Right. And I can be like, you need to leave him now. But guess what? If she loves him, she's not going to leave him.
She's not. She's got to...
I've been in that position. I was years ago with a jerk. Right. People are like, what the heck are you doing? And I was like, and I don't know what I was thinking. But guess what? It took me a while to leave. It was when I was ready.
Right, when you're ready.
And so that's an example of just like an ethical reading. I think everyone has their own style of reading. But I think it's important as a psychic medium to just be mindful of how you communicate things to people.
I think that's a way to be truthful, but also delicate with somebody's feelings and just understanding that like your words are going to be very impactful to that person, especially something with that is just so, it's like a vulnerable thing to talk about.
Yeah. And if they press it, if they're just like, well, where should I leave them? Then maybe I was like, you know what? My feeling is that this is not the right connection. And so when you feel like it's time, I wouldn't move on. But I wouldn't be like, leave that jerk. He's an asshole. He is cheating. Every so often, I will get a reading where they want more information. Okay. So, and that's happened where they're like, I feel like he's seeing someone. And then I'll say, I see in their aura a woman who's kind of far away. She's not as close to him. So I feel like this is somebody that is kind of coming in. And then they're usually like, I knew it. But I didn't say, oh yeah, he's cheating on you. You know, just like I'm like, there's a woman in the aura. I'm confirming that I do feel like there is someone. Yeah. And they're trying to. So it's just a way, and this is interesting talking about it because I've done so much training where I'm just like, oh yeah. that is kind of, it's just about communicating with the sitter and being respectful of their mental health. Right. And also how they want to live their life without forcing them to do something. Yeah, so.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And changing that trajectory for them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I think that's incredible that you are so passionate about taking the time and learning about it and understanding your gift and being able to share that with people. Yeah. But I can understand why you wouldn't want to do that all the time.
Yeah, I did it. That's why I was like, this is so hard because I've been asked. They're like, why don't you do readings full time? I'm just like, I don't know. It just doesn't give me joy. I don't know.
I think you easily could. Yeah. I think you could easily make a very good income.
Yes. And years ago, which is so cool, Lisa, she gave me a reading years ago.
Stop.
And this was, again, when I was still kind of like figuring myself out. Yeah. She said that. She even said, you can do readings if you want. And she was like, it feels kind of like blah for you. And I was like, yeah. She's like, it feels kind of blah. And then I think back to this like 4 or 5 years ago. I was like, oh, she's so right. It just, she could feel the emotion within me, which it was like, But she felt that the paranormal aspect was where I was like, really like connected. I was really into it. I was connected. I was passionate about it. And that's what I wanted to do. So
yeah. So let me ask you one more thing about this. So if you're sitting with somebody or if you're in a social setting, I know you say you can like kind of turn it on and off, so you can like be present and not worry about it. But has something ever come through when you've been in like a social setting where you're like, oh, like I didn't realize that was going to come through today?
A long time ago, before I was trained, before I was I understood more about myself. Yeah. Yes. Where I'd just be like, la la la, just like like I feel like oh, I think your so and so's here. I did this to my friend once. I was describing somebody. He was like, "That's my uncle. What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh." But within the recent years, no. It's an interesting question that you said that because I'm like, no, actually, I am just like, and I like that part about myself.
I'm sure it gives you peace.
Yes.
You don't have all this shit going on. Yeah, you know.
I'm like, wow, I really like that part about myself because you are right. Like I'm off. I'm not scared or nervous or I'm not losing focus. I'm just like, oh my God, there's someone. I just don't. I barely even note it. And then like when I went to the last investigation with Tammy, before we went on. Yeah. Just like, okay, I'm on. Yeah. And then as we walk in, I was just like, oh yeah, there's a lady here, and it works. And I would actually recommend that to anybody that's developing themselves to be a psychic medium and intuitive. It's like, learn when to turn it on and when to turn it off. I smile, but I stress it because there's some I've known, mediums I've known in the past where they're like, I can't sleep. There's someone talking to me or this is that. Yeah. Every so often something will slip as I'm going to bed. I've noticed that. Right. Because my body's relaxed. Right. And I'll hear, it's called a clear audience where it's hard to explain because I don't hear it like someone's calling me outside. It's all intuitive. Yeah. And I'll hear someone trying to talk to me and I'm like, nope, no.
You're like,
we're not doing this. No. And then when I make it clear, it'll go away for months. And then it'll start to slip. And I'm just like, we're not doing that. So, but otherwise, no, I would recommend anybody wanting to go this path to learn how to turn it on and off. Please.
I think you'd almost have to because I think for me, not knowing anything and like before having this conversation with you, I was like, oh, it must be so chaotic for her. Oh, no. Like it must be just such a chaotic life and you probably can't relax or you're out doing something and you're like, no, I'm fine.
I'm totally fine. It could also be my first teacher I forgot her name, years ago, definitely not Lisa, another woman who told us, oh, I sleep fine. She was like, I don't have issues. I don't. And I remember I held on to that. I was like, oh, I wonder what she did. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I think that teacher worked with Lisa Williams too. I think I remember her saying that. And Lisa's amazing. And the people watching, if they want to look her up, like her school, she teaches a lot of classes, online classes. I would say she's the best. And I will always highlight her. Always.
Absolutely. I mean, she gave you those tools that you needed to, work with your gift.
Professional, kind, genuinely cares. Yeah. Gifted, no ego, like amazing. Absolutely amazing. I got to see her after 4 years. I saw her in Lilydale when I was there in August. So I had dinner with her, and that was amazing.
Tammy did tell us a little bit about Lilydale, which I didn't even realize Lilydale existed. I didn't know anything about it. So what was that experience like for you?
Lilydale. I love Lilydale. So Lilydale is a hamlet community. Okay. I might be wrong. I think it's upstate New York. Is it Buffalo? I don't know if Buffalo's upstate. If it's not, I'm sorry, everyone.
It sounds right.
Okay.
I'm from the East Coast. I'm like,
okay. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if Buffalo's upstate. But Lilydale is this hamlet community where all the houses were built, oh my gosh, I'm going to say they look like 1870s, 1880s.
Oh, that's so cool.
And now everybody who lives there, they have to be a medium. And they have it's like Disneyland for them between June and August, where people can go. They get readings, they get spirit messages, they get to take classes, workshops, they get to do investigations. They can do whatever they want. They have little shops there. And they've invited me every year for like the last 3 years to hold workshops or classes, but also hold investigations. And thanks to Lisa, I think that's how they noticed me, because she has a house there. And so of course she does. Of course she does. And so they noticed me, they invited me, I applied, and you have to apply to teach there. And they invited me, and they actually invited me to come back next year.
Oh, so
it's
exciting.
Gonna be great. Please come. It's going to be great.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, you would love it.
Oh
you
my
would love
God.
it. It's because what's great, this is so great. This year I had 3 people that were like, wait, you're on the Lilydale again? Yeah. You know what? I'm going to come. And they all had a great time. Tammy was one of them. Yeah. Bridget Marquardt was one.
I'm a huge fan of Bridget.
Yeah, Elizabeth, her friend. Like they really enjoyed it. And so that made me happy to where they were like, this place is cool. Like it's different. And so
what an experience I think it would be just to walk in and like not knowing and not ever being there.
Yeah,
and
it's so peaceful. It's so peaceful. Beautiful lake there. Everyone's it's lovely. And so that's Lilydale.
Keep me posted. I want to come.
Yeah, Lilydale's great. And they I just confirmed my classes last night. Actually, I was communicating with the representative, and so mine is going to be next year, the end of August, where in the past few years it's been the middle of August.
Okay.
But yeah, that's Lilydale, and it's an amazing community, and if you haven't heard of it, please look it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I knew nothing about it until I talked to Tammy, and I was like, this is so cool. I didn't even realize this existed.
Yeah, they have, if you see Lilydale, you're going to be like, this entire place is haunted because it's old. Yeah. But they rarely have paranormal connections there because it's a spiritualist community. And I mean, they believe in it, but that's not their goal. And so when I was like, hey, I'm a paranormal person, they're like, this is different. And then they let me in, but they gave me specific locations out of respect for the land and the property. This is where you can go. This is where you cannot go.
Oh, interesting.
And this year was cool because they gave me access to a place that I have been wanting to get in there for 3 years. It's a very old hotel. Okay. The Leolin Hotel. Okay. And I was like, oh my God, I can go in there? Because that place, you're going to see it and be like, no.
Am I going to be like, I am actually not entering this facility.
It is very spooky. And they were like, you can actually go into the first floor. And I was like, this is a big deal.
That's incredible.
It was a big deal. And the group I had was I had like a late night VIP type group.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it was only like 12 people.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys, we're getting into the Leolin. Like, oh my God.
Shit's getting real.
Yeah, I was like, this is so exciting. And it was so cool because they gave me 2 locations to go to, but we had so much fun in the Leolin. Yeah. The group was like, we're good. Let's just stay here. I was like, yeah. So we stayed there the whole 2 hours and a lot of activity. And, the way, and I think this is why Tammy and I get along is just respect for the spirits. Mm-hmm. I'm not in any way antagonizing. I'm not looking for demons. I'm not here. We're just there to find out, okay, someone's here. Okay, cool. Who are you? Tell us about yourself. What did you like to do? What year were you here? Like, that's our way of investigating.
I feel like it's very just calm and welcoming, and it's not like a grab where you're like trying to be like, but ghosts are here today.
Yeah, no.
You know,
no.
it doesn't, I didn't get that energy from Tammy, and I certainly don't get that from you.
No, that's why we just work well together.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels really good because, you know, I've worked with a lot of investigators over the last few years, and to find someone that's just as weird and just as cool.
We love it.
Someone weird and cool around your age and different and easy to work with and friendly, like it feels good. And we both are like on the same mission, and it just works well. And so yeah, Lilydale I hope you come. It's gonna be great. They've now switched it into Paranormal Week. Whereas with me, I would just be there randomly. So they'd be like, Paranormal Girls here these days, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas next year, it's going to be like a whole Paranormal Week. So.
Oh, I'm 1000% in. I have a bestie. She's very much into this too. So.
Yep. All good.
I'm hoping that we'll be able to come together. If not, I will definitely be coming.
Yeah, you really should. I was so excited because I did Bridget Marquardt's podcast a few months ago.
Yes.
And then she's like, tell me about Lilydale. Like, what is this? And she's like, I think I'm gonna come. And then she came, and it was great. And I love what I love about that is Bridget. I never watched a little bit. I didn't watch Girls Next Door, but I knew who she was.
Yeah,
and it was cool because she was so down to earth and so friendly. She
seems very sweet.
Oh my God, so warm and so open, and I just really enjoyed being around her energy. Mm-hmm. And we were just investigating. Like it wasn't any way I was
girlies investigating.
We were just investigating, and it was awesome. And I brought her up because I'm so grateful because I've heard and seen her talking about her experience with Lilydale, and she's brought me up in such a positive way. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm glad that she remembered me in that positive way, and that she seemed to have enjoyed herself. And so I hope she comes back. That's great. Yeah.
I hope so too. Yeah. That would be awesome, especially if she had such a positive experience the first time around.
And oh my God, she's an amazing investigator.
Really?
She is amazing. I was like, oh, like really, really serious and very professional and very into it, and understands, similar to what I said about me and Tammy.
Right.
We have the same goals.
Yeah.
And we investigated the Hinsdale house. Ooh, the Hinsdale house is probably like, I'm trying to remember how far that drive was. An hour away or so. And it has a reputation of being very dark.
Can you tell me? I don't know anything about it.
Ooh, okay. So see, this is the thing as well. I said, don't tell me much more.
Okay.
I've heard the name, but what I've heard is that it was dark, like a darker, evil, like that.
Oh, okay.
And they booked it, and I was like, oh, my friend Kim booked it. And I was like, oh, am I making a mistake doing this? Because this isn't really my thing as an investigator. Like,
I don't typically.
No.
Okay.
You're like, do demonic weird stuff. And and Tammy was on board, Kim was on board, Elizabeth and Bridget, and we all drove out there, which is an hour away from Lilydale.
Okay.
We stayed in the nearby town. I might be saying it wrong. Olean or Oline. I think it's Oline.
Okay.
And we went to the Hinsdale house, and that was actually one of the coolest investigations because it's very popular, and there's a lot of investigators that go there trying to find their demon. Mm-hmm. We didn't pick that up. We picked up a woman who, I'm trying to remember, and this also tells that I'm a real medium, because when I was there, the information was just coming to me, and now I'm sitting here trying to remember. I was just like, wait, but no, she connected.
And that's interesting. Sorry, I'm going to stop you. That's interesting that you said that, because I think for me, like, not knowing or not being a part of that community, I would think, oh, well, you would remember everything.
No.
But it does make sense that when you're in there and you're present in that moment, you are getting all that information. Yes. But now you're like, oh, well, we were there and I did it. But
yeah, now I'm
so it's an interesting thing to take away from that.
Yeah, it was beautiful. They say, what they say about the house is that there was a lady that drowned in like the lake, which is in the backyard.
Okay.
And that female spirit made it very clear that was not her. She wanted to make that clear. And also, in case you're wondering, how do we know all this? I would share the information that I was getting, as well as my friend Kim, who's a psychic medium, and then all the equipment would go off. So that would be validating, where I'm like, blah, 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 ding, ding. You know, it's just like, oh. So what Tawney just said is accurate, ding, like that. And so, she wanted to make it clear she was not the lady of the lake. I believe there was also a little boy in the house, a younger female who looked like she was about 12 or 13. There were like 2 men that were very overbearing. Okay. And I think those are the men where people are like, they're evil, they're dark, you know, and I'm just like, no. But she wanted to talk to us that night, which is probably because, well, Tammy, she said, do you usually get like a lot of male investigators? Ding, ding. So I think she was just like, oh, there's ladies here.
Yeah.
I'm going to come and talk to her and talk to them. And we got a lot of activity that night.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was fun. I was just like, no, I had a good time at the Hinsdale. And yeah.
And you didn't feel that dark?
I'm trying to remember. Not really.
Okay.
There was a basement there where I was like, I don't want to go on there. And I think Tammy and Bridget were like, wee!
Yeah, like, let's go.
Bridget and Tammy ran down there. I was like, I'm good. Good night. And we actually were able to stay the night there. I was like, I'm not doing that.
You're like, no.
Good. We have an Airbnb down the street. Goodbye. But yeah, that was probably the last major investigation I did.
Okay.
And then before the Big Bear event. Sorry, with Tammy.
I'm excited for you to have more events because I was sad I missed that one, but I definitely want to come to an event that you're both a part of.
There's another one. Are you coming?
When is it?
October 26th.
Yeah. As long as I don't think I have anything going on.
You really should. It's October 26th. The food is amazing.
Is it? I saw it was like a 9-course meal or something ridiculous.
It was so good. They gave Timmy and I our meals so we could eat it after because we were so busy.
Right, of course.
Like, damn, because I'm not even a steak person.
Did you stay there? Sorry, I'm asking questions.
Yeah,
okay.
We stayed in Big Bear. She has a friend who has a cabin, and we stayed there.
Perfect.
It was so beautiful. But the food was so good. It would be refreshing for you to come because we actually had an audience that wasn't our normal audience, which wasn't bad. I was just like, oh, this is different. It's not our typical audience for investigations, but that's an option. And then we're doing a Heritage Square event in December. That one's going to be a really good one because there's, if you haven't heard of Heritage Square, it's a gated community. It's like Pasadena, LA.
Okay.
But it's gated with all these old, big, beautiful houses. And
I think I've been there before.
Gorgeous.
Don't they hold like events sometimes? I think it was like at a witch event.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say, she invited me there a few weeks ago, and out of the houses I went in, there were about 2 or 3 of them, which I was like, oh, there's people here.
Really?
And we did an investigation with people watching us because they were just there for like a fundraiser. And they were so intrigued because it was like off the whim because I wasn't, it was a last minute thing where she invited me and I was just like, you know what, let me see what
like
pick
why
up.
not?
Yeah. And it was so cool. And so we will be having our own event. We're going to have it 2 dates. It's like December 7th to December 14th.
Okay.
And so if you're interested, please go.
Do you have tickets up already?
I don't know because she's supposed to put up the Eventbrite. I don't know. I don't think so.
We'll link them. Yeah. We'll definitely find out when this comes out so that people can attend because that's a really cool event to be a part of.
It's going to be fun. But if you don't make it to Big Bear, definitely come to Heritage Square. Okay. Or come to all of them. So
I'll be at all of them. I'm just going to listen. I'm in the ghosty world.
Please.
So going back though, I do want to ask, have you ever been in a space like in your investigations where you've walked in and you're like, I'm not going to do this?
Yeah. Montana State Prison. I was on a paranormal, this horrible team. I don't care.
I also want to ask you a question about that. So tell your story.
No problem. Years ago I was on a team. It was horrible. And we did Montana State Prison. And number one, if anyone wants to investigate that, it should be 2 days. It was massive. I actually hope to go back again because it was so massive. I think we only did like 7 hours. I'm like, no, we need way more time than that.
Right.
But no, there is an area in the prison where years ago in history, there was a prison riot and they had to shoot a bazooka in that portion of the building to just calm these idiots down. Yeah. It worked and they were able to get it back under control.
Right.
But me and another investigator had to go in there to just scout the space first.
Okay.
And we walked in. I was like, yeah, no. I am happy though, because she pushed me and she's like, no, we got to go. And I was like, I'm sorry. No, I'm not doing this. She was like, we got to come on, honey.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I was like, and we were going up the stairs and I was like, I cannot do this. And she's like,
why did you feel that way? Was it overwhelming? Was it dark? Like why were you feeling?
It was dark.
Okay.
But all I felt were just hundreds of men just like staring at us.
Oh God.
And it was empty in there, which is interesting. There was nothing in that old building.
Yeah.
We got to the top and I was just like, can you just hurry up and do your scouting? I want to get the fuck out of here.
That's crazy.
And she's like, and again, I'm happy that she made me because professionalism, I should have just shut up and went up there. But I was just like, I cannot do this. This is so overwhelming. And we did it. And then we left. And I was like, I will never do that again. Hell no. It was up like 3 3 or 4 flights of stairs.
Oh, God.
But yeah, and then later that night, we started the full investigation, and then this is rare. I started to feel sick.
Really?
I'm not one of those people that feel sick during investigations. I am controlled and I understand it. And I was like, okay, there's something evil here because I'm feeling nauseous and my stomach started hurting. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to last that long through this night. And that means I'm not going to participate. So I'm just going to kind of chill. And then I remember we actually didn't get a lot of activity as a group. And as we were leaving, something told me to take a picture down the hall, like the jail cells.
Yeah.
And I took a picture and then got on the plane. I was on the plane home and something was like, check your photos. I was like, And I'm looking at my pictures and I was like, what the fuck is that? And I'll gladly show you.
Yes, please.
And I'll send it to you too.
Yes, please.
And I was like, what
me.
the hell is this? And you just see eyes. That's one of the best photos I ever took because there was nothing in there. Yeah. It was empty jail cell. And you just see 2 eyes glowing, just staring at me. And I was like, that's probably the shit that was making me sick. Like,
that's some gross shit.
Yeah. And so I would like to go back there because it's so big. I don't feel like the entire prison is full of evil energy, but now I'm aware. And that was years ago. That was a long time ago to where I'm like more controlled now, to where it could be planned better. We can go into certain spaces. I now know the potential of that place.
Right.
But yeah, that was probably one of the scariest places.
That's incredible. So kind of going off of what you were saying about working with like a not so ideal group, like I guess this is a 2-part question and you can answer as much of it or little as you want to. I was going to ask about a crew. If you've worked with a team where you've just been like, this is not what I want to do today, or have you been around a medium, like a person that's been like, I am a medium, and then you're quickly like, okay. And I know this is like kind of touchy with, I want you to be professional, but I also am just curious because I feel like there probably is people in that space that say that they are. And that can be harmful, especially if you're doing readings for people. Yeah, I'm very direct. So you don't have to worry about me holding back. It's more of me just being like, ugh, do I feel like dealing with... Right. Because I actually, I did an interview recently. I can't remember who it was. And someone in the comments said, oh, Tawney's referring to such and such place. And I was like, she was on the old team I was on. So they watch my stuff. Yeah. I don't care. Okay. Oh God, the comments are gonna light up. She said Tawney's, and I was like, is that? I said, oh my God, that is, I didn't have a problem with her, but I remember I was like, she's a part of that team. Yeah. And so anyway. And I think it's cool too when you were watching somebody on an interview or doing something and you were a part of it. Yeah, yeah. To be like, oh, I know what that is. It was. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to take it personal, but I was like, she's a part of that team. The first team was, I want to say like 2016, 2015. Okay. And that was great. It was actually sweet because I used to always do the walking tours and the ghost tours. Yeah. And the owner's like, just join the team. Like, you're always here. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, we're looking for, teammates and we'll train you. Yeah. And so I learned a lot from him and I learned a lot from the teammates. And that was great. We did a lot of places around LA, a lot of different, not really events, which is why I liked his team, because we genuinely were all weirdos that wanted to investigate ghosts. Yeah. And then the event just so happened to happen. It was like, okay, cool. But I don't think that he wasn't looking for money. Yeah. And that's what I really liked about him. But unfortunately, he moved away. And so when he moved away, he was like, I'm disbanding the group. And I was like, oh man, like this one was really good. Yeah. And then the next one, they were pretty known, and they had a lot of experience in their area. And I auditioned and I got a part of the team, but that one had a lot of events where they charge people to join and do the events with us. Okay. A lot. It happened a lot. And so they were a little bit more showy, a little bit more theatrical. Yeah. The one thing I did like is that I got to investigate places. And again, it always goes back to that, because I wasn't looking for events. I wasn't looking for fame. I just wanted to investigate. It's your passion. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And so that I do appreciate, because I did get to do a lot of places with that team. But over less than a year, there were a lot of people kind of like fighting, and I wasn't involved, thank God. It was just a lot of conflicts and a lot of drama and a lot of emotional and a lot of immature stuff that I was seeing happen. Yeah. And I want to say over the course of a year, like 7 people left that team. And I was just like, okay, there's a reason for that. Like, it's right. That doesn't just happen. There's a reason. And I feel like no one was taking accountability for it. Mm-hmm. And so, and this, I'm not going to go into the long version, but it was where I felt
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I felt like something was wrong. And I ended up quitting. And so I left that team quickly. It was probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish them well, but all I wanted was for them to take accountability. Yeah. You have all these people who are leaving your team. There's a fucking reason for that.
Right.
I'm not going to say what that reason is. They can figure it out.
Yeah. But it's clearly a reason that would make someone uncomfortable and not want to be a part of the team.
A big reason. A lot of people have left. And ever since I left, there probably were like 5 more that left. And so that tells you a lot.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, what's the problem? And it's like, I want them to just go back to why are we doing this? It's to investigate.
Right.
And to learn and to teach about the afterlife. And that's all it should be.
Yeah.
And so that was the last team. And then after that, I just kind of like did my own thing, and I would have friends with me or people that were interested in paranormal, and they would join me on investigations, and it always worked well.
Yeah. So when you do investigations now, do you do it with friends, or is there groups that'll be like, hey, come with us to do
a mixture? Okay. A mixture. It's with friends or like I said, groups are like me. I was in Savanah in August. I was out there by myself, and they had an investigation, and I went by myself.
I love that.
It was a group of like 6 women and the investigator. And they were just looking at me like, you're here by your, like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, I'm number 1, I'm on vacation. I'm in Savanah.
Yeah.
2, I love this stuff. I'm not doing this for any other freaking reason. Like, I just like it.
Right.
And it was so cool because the investigator, I said, hey, are you hands-on? She says, oh, I can be as hands-on as you guys want me to be. Because I think once she gives you the tools, you just kind of like do your own thing.
That's fine.
And I was like, can you investigate with me? Because I'm by my... She was like, oh my God, yes. She was so happy.
Yeah.
And she gave me like some of the tools, and she took tools, and we just like did our own thing, and she helped me. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because she could have just been like, I'm getting paid by the hour. Like, can you just go away? Like, bye.
Right,
like,
go find your ghosts.
Go work with that group. No, she was like with me, and I would have the SLS camera, and it was just a really cool event. And then when it was done, she was talking to me. She's like, so you're from LA, you're an investigator? I was like, yeah, I'm here, and I love this stuff, and I didn't want to be in Savanah and not investigate something. Right. Because Savanah, seriously, now that I've been, is like one of the most haunted cities, which is hilarious because I was my Airbnb was built in 1870. I was like, why am I here?
Literally, why did you pick that one? Santa Marriott.
I was like, why am I doing this?
No! God!
I know the reason I did it was, one, the house is gorgeous, and 2, it was like a Airbnb with a whole bunch of people in it. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, if something's haunting me,
bad.
I'm not the only one that's haunting.
True. You've got like some support around you.
I was like, I think I'm okay. And then that was one of the places where I had to like turn it off, because I was like, Tawney, if you sit here being like, oh, it's haunted, you're going to be freaking yourself out. So, but it was beautiful. I was comfortable, and I told everyone, I said, I love Savanah. I want to go back. Yeah. I have to have somebody with me. I was like, there were so many places to investigate. Yeah. And I told you I'm scared of that stuff, but I do it. I was like, I can do so many more investigations if I just have like people with me. And so Tammy was like, oh, let's go next year. Yeah. And I was like, please, let's do it. Please, please.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Awesome. It's beautiful there. It was just hot. So be careful what month you choose to go.
Yeah. I would imagine like in the middle of like summer is probably not ideal.
God, it was gross. I went in August. It's like August 22nd, or like around there.
Was it pretty spicy then? I feel like it would be.
It was hot. It was like gray, kind of like gray skies, but it was just so hot. And I was like, what am I doing? But I really, really enjoyed it. Yeah. And then just a side note, there's a historian that you would actually probably love talking to. She lives there, and I had like coffee with her, and she's into spooky too. Ooh. And she was just amazing. She knew everything about Savanah.
I love
and
that.
My favorite part is I said, hey, this is my Airbnb. There's a place across the street called Whitefield Square. It looked like a park. I was like, what do you know about the history? She was like, well, it's actually Whitefield Square, and it was slave burial ground. I was like, excuse me?
Stop.
I was like, across the street.
You're like, wait, what? Like from where I'm at?
She was like, yeah. I was like, why'd you tell me? And she's laughing. I was like, you didn't have to tell me that. You could have just said, I don't know.
Right, literally. Just like, I'm not sure.
I was like, wow. I remember walking back to the Airbnb. I was like, but it's just a cool place. And so anyone that hasn't been to Savanah and they like history and like spooky or paranormal, please go. It was like, I'm smiling because I really enjoyed myself, but I definitely need somebody with me.
Oh yeah, you needed some girlies to go with you for sure. and have a fun time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, why did I do this?
But I do think that there's some like greatness in like doing something on your own. So like it is nice, but like it is more fun when you have somebody with you.
It works out for me because what it is Lilydale. So they invite me to Lilydale to teach, and so I end up going by myself. And I don't like to just go and then come back home. That's how I end up traveling by myself. And I'm like, wait, I'm over here. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so I bounced around. So I was in D.C., then I went to Williamsburg, Virginia, and then I was in last year I went to Salem. And
that's awesome.
So that's why people are like, why are you by yourself? I'm like, no, because I was teaching at Lilydale. So
yeah,
after Lilydale, I went to Savannah.
And if you're gonna go from the west to the east coast, you gotta bop around.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, you're by yourself." I was like, "No, it's great. I really just don't want to go back to LA immediately. I want to see what I can while I'm out traveling." And so, next year I'm gonna force Tammy to come with
Absolutely, yes, you definitely should. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to ask because we've had quite a convo here. And I feel like you've shared a lot of great information.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate your time. Is there anything that maybe we didn't touch that you want to share or any experiences you've had?
No, there's so much more, but no, I talked about all the key things and the TV, if you really enjoy these things, I listed all the shows, and it's October, so this is the perfect
It's spooky season.
Yeah, so I'll say it again. I'm on Tubi, Scariest Places in America.
Yeah.
Scariest Places in the World, Famously Haunted Hollywood. So those are all on Tubi. Definitely watch those.
Oh, yeah.
If you have not seen Ghost Adventures, it's the Poltergeist House Curse episode. That's on Discovery Plus and Max.
Yeah.
And I'm on that one. And then My Haunted Hometown is now on Travel Channel. So look for that. And then Paranormal Revenge only airs in Canada, not America. But yeah, so if you like spooky stuff, check out any of those.
Tawney is literally everywhere. She's on every platform. She's on all the ghost shows. And I would love to have you and Tammy back together next year after you've had a year of just like investigating and doing all this cool badass stuff together. Yeah. We get together and next spooky season.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Would love to. You are fantastic. And like I told you earlier, this is probably one of the best podcast interviews I've ever done.
Thank you.
And I'm excited for you. I think you're am I reading you right now? I was saying,
is it my reading time? I was going to ask you to do a reading for me.
I just a side note, like just throwing it out there, like I see you with a radio show kind of similar to like Howard Stern.
Shut up.
Yeah, I see you kind of with but it's not, I don't think you're the psychic though. It's like yours. And so I saw a brief flash of that. And I can go into more details when we're done. But.
Okay, we need to go into this because you did say my idol. So
oh, sweet. Oh, interesting. But
yeah, he's my inspiration.
That's awesome.
He's my idol. But Tawney, thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys so much for listening. And I'll see you next week. Happy spooky season, everybody.